What is happening, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Fresh Hope for Better You podcast. I am your host, as always, Oliver Goulet, and I am excited to go over today's topic with you guys because it is something that's helped me out an incredible amount throughout my journey of becoming the man I am today. And it's about, my weight loss journey and nutrition, how a lot of people are very uneducated about it. But first, I want to say thank you to everyone that's been listening week to week and supporting me with this next journey of my life with doing podcasts. It's been a phenomenal experience so far. This is week 9, and it's a fun fact that over 90% of podcasts don't make it past episode 3. So it doesn't take a lot to create separation in life, and especially in the podcast world. It just takes consistency. And so many people, kind of like with their dreams and goals and stuff, they give up after not seeing results. Of course, I'm not going to give up. I'm not the type to give up on anything, to be honest, because I know that if I put enough work in and stay consistent with it, it is going to be, worthwhile in the end, because a lot of people just simply can't stay consistent or work through the struggles and stuff, and they expect instant gratification, which is what this day and age is all about, is instant gratification. And it's all about the delayed gratification that I've learned. And I've learned that from my weight loss journey, to be honest, because I didn't get the physical body that I have now and the physique overnight. It took the last 4 years of dedicated hard work, barely missing a day of working on and exercising. But it really started to get dialed in, and I really got to the physique I absolutely love when I started to really take my nutrition into consideration. So with that being said, I want to bring you guys back to the beginning. Growing up my whole life, you guys know I was a very overweight child, and that was simply because I had an addictive personality even as a young kid, and it came to my food. I was addicted to food. That was my first true addiction, was food. It was something that I always turned to whenever I got sad or down, or my brother bullied me, or I was just simply alone. When I come home from school, we lived in the country, and what did I do? I'd grab like 3 or 4 Diet Mountain Dews, a bag of chips, sit on the couch, before dinner even happened. And I would just smash a whole bag of potato chips, a bunch of Mountain Dews and stuff like that, and just all these unhealthy foods. And I would just sit there because they made me comfortable. And when I was alone, I didn't have many kids around me growing up, and the kids that were around me were my siblings' ages, and my siblings did not like when I hung out with their friends, which is why my brother used to beat my ass. But that's besides the point. I hid behind my emotions by stuffing my face with food. And that is a problem with many people today, and that is why majority of the United States is overweight or obese. It is a very big problem here, and that is ultimately why I became a nutrition and lifestyle coach, is because I know how hard it can be and how uneducated I was at one point, where I had no idea the food that I was eating was bad for me. I was never taught any differently, and so many people aren't taught any differently. Like a lot of my clients that I work with now, they have no idea when I'm trying to explain macros and all this other stuff, what those even are. And when I ask them to walk me through a typical day of their eating, most of it's processed foods. And a lot of times people are actually under eating, but they also are consuming a lot of the wrong foods that aren't quality whole foods, which is always going to be that route. And when I was a kid, I had no idea. And my mom, she made delicious food, don't get me wrong, and I loved it, but it wasn't the healthiest by any means. But I was also over consuming by 2,000-3,000 calories every day. And my metabolism wasn't fast enough. Like a lot of kids that could just eat what they wanted to. I had a very slow metabolism, and it honestly just all turned to fat when I was over consuming all those extra calories. And the first law of thermodynamics state energy can neither be created nor destroyed. So that goes with calories, as in like the food that you're eating. Your body can't destroy it. It can't make it. It has to do something with it. When you consume it, it's got to do something in order for it to get out of your system. And more than likely, if you're over consuming calories, it will turn to fat. And that is what happened to me when I was excess eating of 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 calories every day. What was it doing? Majority of it was turning to body fat. And that is why ultimately I ended up being 180 pounds in 3rd grade. Yeah, I weighed 180 pounds. No, 4th grade. I weighed 180 pounds in 4th, 5th grade. And I remember when I was playing rocket football, we had to weigh in. In order to tackle people, you had to be a certain weight to play defense or offense. You couldn't even touch the ball if you're over a certain weight. And I remember every night before our games, I'd weigh in, I'd get on the scale, and I would get on and I'd be overweight. I couldn't even play defense. I couldn't tackle people most of the years. And it really made me sad. So what did I do? I was like, oh, I can just, do some push-ups, sit-ups real quick and I'll burn this weight off. And then I do a bunch of push-ups, sit-ups, and I get back on the scale, same freaking weight. I was like, well, maybe if I go poop, okay, there's, half a pound. But when you're 5 pounds over, that really doesn't make a difference. And that crushed me because knowing that I wanted to play defense, knowing that I could always wished I'd always been able to, play quarterback and run the ball and stuff, but I simply couldn't because of my weight. And I realized that the weight was the one thing really holding me back from actually being happy. And so what did I do? I didn't take my health and stuff serious at the time when I was a kid. What did I do? I stuffed my face with more food, with my emotions. And that is something a lot of people struggle with, is emotional eating. And I tend to do it from time to time still. I'm not perfect still, but I've learned to balance it mostly. I've learned that if I choose quality whole foods, majority of the time, 95% of the time I do. A lot of people go with the 80-20 rule. That's something within my coaching. If you go 80% of the time with quality whole foods that are nutrient dense and 20% the ones that aren't very nutrient dense and, the sweets and stuff that you like, you can still be a very, very healthy individual. It comes down to, the food quality that you're putting in, and if you're consuming an adequate amount of protein. Protein is so huge, and I'm always expressing how important it is for your body because protein is what allows you to maintain your lean muscle tissue. That is basically what it comes down to. And your lean muscle tissue is tied to your metabolic functions, your metabolism, which is just the amount of calories you burn throughout the day. And the more lean muscle tissue you have, the more calories you will burn throughout the day. And so I am to a point where I have a lot of lean muscle tissue, so I burn a lot of calories throughout the day, a lot more than I used to. But I'm also taking my health and nutrition very, very seriously. I track my macros every single day. I've been doing that for over 2.5 years now, and I will continue to do it. And a lot of people are like, oh, dude, why do you take that so seriously? And it's like, dude, you have no idea the hell I came from. And the way that I looked at it was, if my weight is going to be the limiting factor for anything in my life, that I'm going to prioritize making sure my physical health is priority number one, and making sure that I'm putting quality, nutrient dense whole foods into my body whenever I possibly can, because I'm scared to go back to the man I once was when I weighed 270 pounds. I was extremely depressed, extremely, unhappy within myself. I couldn't even look myself in the mirror, and I couldn't see my dick. And that was just something that, every man that has ever experienced that, when looking down and not being able to see your own dick, it's a sad, sad thing. And I was there at one point. I can't deny it. It's not even funny to think about, to be honest, because that's how sad it was. But now that, I have the physique that I want, I'm going to keep this physique, and I'm going to keep, critiquing it and stuff like that. I have body dysmorphia, so I do struggle with that. I struggle to look myself in the mirror sometimes, but overall, I'm a ton happier, or tremendous amount happier, now that I am in a good physical condition and I can look myself in the mirror and be like, man, you put in that work. It was not given to you. And a lot of people wish, for instant gratification, they want to go to the gym one time and have a six pack. That is simply not how it works. And one thing I want to say is, abs aren't made in the kitchen, or aren't made in the gym. They're made in the kitchen. It all comes down to nutrition, and people look past it so much because when you go to the grocery store, if you look at anyone's cart, majority of the people's carts are full of a bunch of junk processed foods. And that's something I do. When I go to the store, I'm always looking at people's shopping carts. Yes, thou shalt not judge. But at the same time, I can look at someone and look at their physical health and their mood, and if they have a smile on their face, or what they, what kind of aurora their body puts off, and, their posture and stuff. And I can look at their cart and I'm like, yep, directly correlated. They're putting junk into their body. They probably feel like ass. They probably struggle with mental health things. And it all comes down to the food that you put in your body. And that's something I express very heavily into my coaching, is like, okay, when I'm onboarding someone, do you have, mental health issues? Do you struggle with depression, anxiety, and stuff like that? And I was like, okay, well, if they do, we're going to look at your foods first. And then I look at what they're eating in a day and I'm like, yep, all right, let's switch this, and this. And within a week, they're feeling better, about themselves, their body's feeling better. And it literally just comes down to the food that you're putting into your body can make a huge difference. And that's something so many people don't understand. Like if you're putting quality whole foods into your body, you're going to get quality energy. You're going to feel better. You're going to feel better about yourself, and you're going to want to do more things because you're putting good energy into your body. When you're eating food, it is energy. Like you're consuming energy. Calories is a unit of energy. And when you eat food, you should have energy. You shouldn't feel tired. You shouldn't feel sluggish, which you eat a bunch of crappy processed foods or just overeat in general, your body's going to be struggling to break that food down, which is going to take energy from you. So you're not going to feel the energy that you should after eating a meal. Because I know back when I weighed 270 pounds, I would go to the dining hall at Hope College and I would get 3 or 4 plates and then a thing of ice cream, and I'd want to go take a nap. You shouldn't want to take a nap after consuming energy. You should want to go do things. And that was simply because my gut health was out of whack. I wasn't consuming quality whole foods and I felt like shit. And most people feel like shit after eating the foods that they do. So going back to when I was a kid, I really didn't know what was good foods. My parents, my mother would cook the majority of the meals. But I would always, sneak food and stuff like that. Especially, I would be sitting around watch TV. What do I want to do? I want to be doing something. So I'm eating food. There wasn't a time where I can remember where I wasn't sitting on the couch eating food really when I was growing up. Yes, I played outside. I played sports. But when I wasn't doing those things, I was most likely by myself and eating those shit foods and just watching TV. And then my parents, they didn't really buy a ton of junk food and stuff like that. So I was always making like, random concoctions of foods and stuff like tortillas and cheese, tons of that stuff. And then one thing when I was growing up, I had friends and I'd go to their houses. And one in particular, my old best friend, Brett, who passed away when I was in high school, his parents always had all the junk food, all that stuff. And every time I could get the chance, I would go over there and I would just eat a bunch of junk food, play video games. And then that's really when the weight started to compound, is when I started just eating all that shit food and playing video games when I was a child. And then when it came to, this one time in middle school, we were supposed to be starting our first course of swimming. And I went to take my shirt off to get in the pool. And one of the kids, I'm not going to say his name, but he goes, "Oliver, you have bigger boobs than most of the girls in our grade." And I did. And it was sad because it really hit me hard. And like back then I already struggled with my body image and insecurities and, just being bullied for my weight and stuff. And that night I went home and I told my mom about it. And I was like, "Yeah, Mom, I need a swimming shirt." And she's like, "A what?" A shirt to swim in, so I don't have to take my shirt off in front of all these guys and girls so I don't get made fun of. So that night my mom went and we got a dry fit swim shirt, and I guess what I wore every day of the next 2 weeks of swimming, a swim shirt. And that was just one of the times that I was bullied for, my weight and stuff. But it was the truth. I did have, in 6th grade, I had bigger boobs than all of the girls because they had yet to hit puberty. And I was just a fat little kid that had big boobs. And yeah, thinking back on it, there's a lot of great lessons to be learned from that. Is, kids are mean and they're always going to choose or figure out ways to pick on you. And 2, I put myself in that position. No one was force feeding me. No one was pushing that food down my throat. No one was making me not exercise. The choices were all mine. But at the time, I had no idea what to do about it. I was really uneducated, which, goes back into why I became a nutrition and lifestyle coach, is because I do want to help people. I do want to help people be comfortable in their own bodies. I do want to teach parents so that their kids are raised right and they know about nutrition and the quality whole foods and all that stuff. And a lot of people that I coach do have kids, and they'll be working out and stuff, and they'll text me and be like, "Man, so-and-so just did a workout with me," and they're always excited to see me working out and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, kids are a product of their environment. They're going to follow exactly what you do. Monkey see, monkey do. And your kids are always watching, which is why you always need to lead by example. If you want your kids to be healthy, happy, and, live a healthy life, you have to be the example. If they grow up eating healthy foods and seeing your parents exercise very often and being around it, guess what they're going to do? they're going to take what you do and they're going to do it themselves over time. And the more you do it, the better off you're going to be for your health and your kids' health. So when people are like, oh, I'm too busy, I have kids to exercise and all that stuff, it's like, fuck that. Go do it with your kids. Your kids will be a part of it. You know, if they watch you working out and exercising at home, guess what they're going to do? They're going to be right there watching you exercising, and they're going to start to enjoy it just like you are. You're going to love how you feel. You're going to love how you're starting to look in the mirror. You're going to love the weight on the scale. And overall, you're going to start loving yourself, because that all comes down to self-love. The best way for self-love, I've found out, isn't, you know, taking a bath and, you know, relaxing and taking time away from things. It's like, no, doing what you know you're supposed to do on a daily basis, like exercising, eating quality whole foods, and, you know, taking the time to really learn and grow. That is self-love. Self-love isn't, you know, sitting in a hot bath and relaxing. That, yes, that can be part of your self-love, but that's not what it's really about. Self-love is about taking care of yourself and doing the things that you need to on a daily basis in order to actually live a more fulfilling life. So going into high school, I was overweight already, but I also had the, you know, size advantage on most kids, especially in football. I could toss kids around. I could really move some weight in high school because I had weight with me. And deep down, I've always, you know, when I played sports, I always kind of wanted to have that edge on kids. Like, yeah, I was bigger, so it was like, yeah, I'm going to crush you. But that came deep from my deep down, like, you know, hating myself, as I would project that onto other people. And playing football was like a chance for me to really take out all my anger and frustration on people, whether that was from, you know, me being unhappy with myself, or, you know, me getting bullied at school, or my brother tormenting me. Those are all ways that I was able to take out the anger and frustration, was on the football field. And I would murder kids flat out. I would destroy it. I would come for kids' heads in football. And like, that was simply because I was so unhappy with myself and taking all the anger and frustration out on other people, when I could have been, you know, doing other things to get that anger out. But that was my, you know, outlet for getting all my anger and frustrations out, was on the football field. And I was called a dirty player and stuff because I would ruthlessly destroy kids. And that's something that, you know, I look back and I'm like, damn, Oliver, you were a asshole. You just straight up fucked up kids. You hurt kids. Like, but that's part of the game. And looking back, like, I don't regret that necessarily, but I was an asshole about it. And I could have went at it a different way. So as I went into college, I was still heavily overweight. I weighed around 220 pounds. And when I got to college, we had a dining hall that I had unlimited meals. I'd go there whenever. And I started going there very often. Basically, it was an everyday thing. I'd go get 3 meals a day there. And then on top of that, 2 out of the 3 meals, I'd be getting ice cream. On top of that, I was like 3 to 4 plates of food plus ice cream every day. So I was probably consuming right around 6,000 calories, which is roughly 3 times as many calories as I'm consuming right now, except for I was not getting near the amount of exercise and stuff I do. And which says a lot, which is why the typical freshman 15 actually turned into the freshman 50. I ended up weighing 270 pounds by the end of my freshman year. And it was not a good sight for sure. All that stuff of me being bullied and stuff. Now I was just, you know, a college kid, and people really didn't talk shit to me when I was overweight and stuff like that as much as compared to when I was growing up, because I guess people mature with age and stuff like that, and they realize, like, yeah, this kid's already fat and probably depressed. Like, I don't need to make fun of him even more. And so that kind of died down. But then it came down to just my negative self-talk. I couldn't look myself in the mirror. I was so unhappy with myself. And after I had dropped out of hope and started selling weed and doing my cannabis thing, I really didn't go into the fitness and nutrition at all for the first 6 or 7 months. And then, you know, once I was making a bunch of money and stuff like that, I was like, fuck, dude, like, I'm still unhappy. Like, what do I do? And so I started to work out, and I was like, you know, I miss sports and I miss exercising and stuff like that. So I started to work out, started losing some weight, and I started feeling good, making it a habit because I have addictive personality. Once I find something I like, I start to do it very, very often. So I started to work out basically every day. Did that for about 4 months, lost 20 pounds of food. I wasn't taking care of my nutrition by any means. I was just going to the gym, murdering myself, and, you know, started running and doing all this stuff. And then I got injured from a dirt bike accident. I tore my labrum. I had shoulder surgery, which set me back very far. And guess what? My old habits of like bad eating and all that stuff, all came into play along with my addiction with hard drugs like cocaine and stuff like that. And I really didn't see a way out. I was just super depressed, super unhappy, wasn't happy within my relationship, but that all comes back to me being not happy with myself. And yeah, I was just basically at the lowest point of my life. I watched everything crumble in front of me. And as soon as I made it through PT and stuff with my shoulder, I was like, dude, I need to start working out again. So I started working out again, and that is when this journey started. Then I was all gas, no brakes from there on out, and I went up back to like 260, and then over the past 4 years I've gotten down to 185, 180 was my lowest, and now I'm currently sitting at 195. And it all came down to when I really started to see the progress and results is when I started to take my nutrition. And for the first couple years, the only thing I ate was like chicken, rice, vegetables. It was no seasoning, no sodium, which was hurting me because sodium is one of the three key electrolytes that you need, especially if you're exercising a substantial amount and sweating. You're depleting your sodium intake and all your electrolytes, and your body needs electrolytes for its proper functioning. The three key electrolytes are sodium, potassium, and magnesium. You need to be consuming these on a daily basis, whether that be from whole foods or supplementation. I do both. It's a lot easier. I do consume a lot of sodium and potassium, and at night I take my magnesium to help me sleep. Three key things there. And what really made the biggest difference in my nutrition is when I started to track my macros, knowing exactly what I needed to be consuming on a daily basis in order to continue to lose weight while maintaining the lean muscle tissue. And something I recommend to all my clients is, baseline 1 gram per pound of ideal body weight in protein. So I weigh 195 pounds. I want to consume at least 195 grams of protein during this weight loss journey. That way I'm going to be able to maintain this lean muscle tissue, and which is directly correlated to my metabolism with how many calories I'm going to be burning throughout the day. And I want to be burning more calories because I'm trying to lose weight and cut a little bit more body fat. And this goes with anyone on a weight loss journey. You want to maintain as much lean muscle tissue as possible. That way you're going to be able to hold on to that lean. You're going to be able to burn more calories throughout the day, which is going to equivalent into greater weight loss. So if you're someone that doesn't know where to start with your weight loss journey or anything like that, the first thing you can start doing is consuming more protein, making protein your biggest thing in every single meal. And I promise you, if you just simply start with that, you'll start losing weight. And then you go from there, you start consuming 100 ounces of water every single day. Start cutting out sugary drinks. Really watch where you're getting calories from. If you're getting a lot of calories from drinks, those add up super fast. And the easy way to cut back on calories is simply by, drinking sugar-free and calorie drinks with 0 calories. They taste great. There's plenty of options out there now in this day and age, and you just really got to look. And that's something I made for my elite coaching program, is a literally walkthrough video of me going through the store and picking out areas that you guys need to be looking for, areas to shop, all with all the healthy foods. Because if you go into any grocery store, majority of the healthy foods are along the outside. When you start going down the middle aisles and stuff, that's when you get into all the high processed foods and foods that aren't that good for you. So if you simply just stuck to the outside aisles, you would be way better off with your shopping. And I know your shopping cart would be full of a lot better foods, because as soon as you start going down those middle aisles is when, the junk food, the chips, all that junk starts getting into your cart. And that is where it all goes downhill. Because with me, I don't buy any of that stuff and keep it in my house, because I know that even though I'm very disciplined, I know that I'll be like, I could just have one. And then guess what? Later down the week, I eaten all that stuff, and it's like, why did I do that? I don't need to be eating that food. I want, good quality energy, and I want to be able to perform, whether that be in sports or business or anything. I want my brain functioning to the best of its ability, and that all comes down with, the food that we're putting in your body. If you're putting a bunch of junk food in your body, it's going to mess with your brain function, your cognitive function. It's also going to mess with your metabolic function and all that stuff. Because back in the day when I was eating crappy food, I didn't really notice it when I would eat crappy food. Yeah, I'd be tired and stuff after I ate, but I really didn't notice it until I went fully clean with quality, whole food, nutrient dense foods that if I go eat McDonald's or something like that, my body will literally reject it now because that is so bad for you. And my body's like, dude, what the fuck is this stuff? Like, this ain't the norm, bro. What are we doing? Don't go back to who you once were. Make sure we're staying on the right path, which is why I don't like fast food. But I've also just spent the last week putting together a dining out eating guide or a takeout or at like, mainly franchise restaurants, fast food and sit down, that you can find healthy options no matter where you go. I developed this this guide for people that I'm coaching is because I don't want them to be able to ever make an excuse, because it doesn't matter where you go, McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, if you go to Logan's, Texas Roadhouse, there's always healthy options that you can choose from that are macro friendly, that have more protein in it. So no one has, an excuse. There is no excuse to eat unhealthy. Oh, eating unhealthy is, it's hard. Yes, it's hard, but so is being fat and overweight. Eating healthy doesn't taste good. Okay, well, who's cooking your food? Are you? Or are you just, letting someone else, or you just simply wrapped your head around, healthy foods taste bad? Oh, it's expensive to eat healthy. No, I make all my food, like all of my meal prep. It costs me less than $5 a serving per dish, which you can't even get a freaking Happy Meal at McDonald's for the price of that anymore. So don't tell me that eating healthy is expensive. You're just lazy. You don't know where to shop. And guess what? That's okay, because I was at that point one too, which is why I do what I do now, so I can educate and teach people how to actually, navigate through stores, how to find, and read nutrition labels and looking at all the ingredients that are in your foods, because you don't know what you don't know. It's very simple. If you don't know about something, it's going to be hard for you to really know about it. So until people become educated and really realize what they're putting into their bodies, makes a huge difference. I have clients that I've been working with for over a year, and their whole lives have changed simply because they understand the quality whole foods are going to make them feel better. It's positively impacted their lives. It's positively impacted their family, their children, everyone around them, because they simply made this decision that I'm not going to live that way anymore, and I want to live a healthier and more happy life. And so what do? They started taking care of their nutrition. They started exercising regularly. Guess what? Their significant others started to see that, and they started doing it too. Their children started to do it. They're a product of their environment, and you can be the leader. No matter who you are a leader in some way, shape, or form to someone or something. And people are drawn to leaders. And me, I never thought I was really necessarily a leader, especially, I wasn't team captain or anything in that in sports, but as these years went on, when I started taking my fitness, nutrition, and my life seriously in business entrepreneurship, I have grown-ass people coming to me for advice now, and I used to think that was super weird, but age really doesn't matter. It goes on what you know and what you're able to do, and now that I'm very well educated on nutrition and like fitness and also with business, I'm still learning on all these areas. I'm no expert by any means. I am not. I'm always very eager to grow. I have a growth mindset, so I'm always trying to learn more things. And every day I'm learning something new about fitness, nutrition, business, entrepreneurship. But I know a lot more than majority of the people out there. But yes, there's a lot of people that know a lot more than me, and those are people that I'm dying to, talk to, learn from, and hopefully, be able to help them in whatever way I can. And they're going to return the favors to me, which is why I'm part of Arte Syndicate, which is why I work with First Form, which is why I'm always trying to work my way up and, find my way to that next table. Because in life, there's levels to the game, and like when you're trying to make it somewhere, whether that be in business or your fitness or nutrition, like when you first start out at the gym, yes, you're going to resonate with people that also just started at the gym on their journey. But, if you're 2-3 years in, you're going to resonate with people that are 2, 3, 4, 5 years in. And the same thing goes with business. If you're in your first year, you're going to be associating with people that are also new into the business. And guess what? Because that's the table that's open. You don't get to just skip the tables and, jump to the high ones that people have been in business for the 10-year table or the 20-year table. But, the longer you stay in the game, which life is a game, whether that's business, fitness, or nutrition, it's a game. And the more time you spend dedicated and disciplined to the game and, persistent, the better off you're going to be, the more tables that are going to open up, the more people are going to want to help you. As long as you're continuing to give and you're not just bullshitting people like people can see real recognize real. And that's something whenever I meet someone new, they're drawn to me. They trust me because I'm a real person. I will flat out tell you, I don't know everything, but I'm eager to learn, and I will tell you what I know, and I will give you, absolutely everything I possibly can. I'm not going to sugarcoat shit. I'm going to tell you straight up what I've learned, what I'm doing, and who I am, because I have no reason to hide. I know who I am, but the question is, do you know who you are deep down? And that's something I used to struggle with. And once I really started to take my fitness and nutrition seriously, I knew that I wasn't living the life that I was supposed to live when I weighed 270 pounds and was depressed and couldn't barely get out of bed. But now that I'm able to wake up excited and, want to go and get after every single day in my fitness, my business, nutrition, like I'm so excited every day. And some days are harder than others, don't get me wrong, but I'm very excited to attack the day and become a better version of myself than I was yesterday. It's an opportunity. Every single day is an opportunity for growth and prosperity and to meet new people and make an impact. And, that's why I started this podcast. That is why I, am a nutrition and lifestyle coach. And that is why I simply am dedicating my life to becoming the best version of myself. And if you don't know where to start on your journey, start with your physical health. That's where I started, and that is when it really, took off for me. That is when my life truly started to change, is when I started to prioritize my physical health. Because like the foundation of a house, your base is your physical health. You can't build off something that's fucked up. So if you have shit physical health, it's going to be very hard for you to build off anything like that, build off your dreams or anything of like relationships, if you don't have control on your foundation, which is your physical health. And that is why I'm always preaching to people. It's like, man, did you work out today? Did you eat good? What are you doing? And then I usually get the response that with people that I'm coaching, yes, I do. And now I'm feeling good. I did this, I accomplished this and all this stuff. And it's like, when I first met them and they were onboarding, they weren't doing shit. They were struggling very heavily. And as soon as they started to prioritize their physical health is when it really, really started to change within them. One thing I want to recommend to you guys is your first part of your fitness and nutrition journey is not going to be perfect, but don't let that get you down. Guess what? You have your whole life. Yes, you need to act with a sense of urgency, but if you make, being healthy, eating clean food, and exercising a part of who you are, your life will change. Because that is something I struggle with at first. It's like, oh, I'll just lose this weight and then I don't have to work out anymore. And then guess what? I would do it for a while. I'd be in a cycle and then I'd get off and I'd put weight back on. But as soon as I adopted fitness and nutrition and living a healthy lifestyle into my life and making it part of who I am, is when it all started to change. So if you're someone that doesn't know where to start, or if you think it's just going to be some quick fix, I promise you all the fad diets in the world aren't going to save you. The only thing that's going to save you is when you start accepting fitness and nutrition into your life and making it a part of who you are as a person, and you'll never look back. If you make it who you are as a person, that you are a physically fit person, that you care about your physical and mental health, your life will change. And I can promise you that because I'm a living, breathing, walking example of it. And I have over 40 people I'm coaching that are living, breathing, walking examples. A lot of people, when they first come to me, they're like, oh, I want to lose X amount of weight in 8 weeks. And it's like, okay, get to that point. They don't lose all that weight. And it's like, they're like, oh man, I didn't get to that, but I feel great. And it's like, okay, so you're going to continue? And most of them are like, yeah. And then they kind of question themselves like, no, I used to allow that. Like if they didn't want to continue on, go for it. But now with my coaching, it's like, no, you're going to continue on. You're going to create this as a part of who you are, because I don't want to see you go back to the way you were, because your old habits, your old routines, the old you will come pulling you back and want you to go back, because that's comfort. Your body and yourself is always going to seek comfort in life. And that is where you have to, draw the line and say, no, I was not comfortable being that way, because even though it seemed like comfort and it was easy, that's not comfortable to me. I don't want to go back to that person. And all the people I coach say the same thing. They don't want to go back to who they once were, because they came to me for a reason. They came with a problem and I came with solutions, and they're following through with those solutions, and now their life is better because of it. So if you are someone that needs to start on your journey, 3 things that you can start with today is simply consuming protein with every single meal. Shoot for 30 to 40 grams of protein every single meal. Drinking 100 ounces of water every single day. 3, resistance training and walking. 2 simple things: going to the gym, resistance training, going for a walk, or shooting for 10,000 steps every day. If you do those 3 things today, you will be well on your way to living a happier and more fulfilling lifestyle. And just notice where your mind is after a walk, because it only takes 20 minutes to stimulate something in your brain that's going to produce more happiness, more dopamine, more serotonin. And it's very simple. It's just a little life hacks that people don't know, because I know when I get flustered or anything in work, all I simply have to do is take a little 10-minute walk and clear my head. That goes with anything in life. The more you move your body, the more you're going to want to move your body. A body in motion stays in motion. With that being said, guys, I appreciate you guys hopping on and listening to this every single week. It'd be greatly appreciated if you guys leave me a 5-star review. I love all of you guys. I'm truly grateful, and I'm looking forward to continuing on with this journey on my podcast career, and coming out with at least 1 episode a week. Further down the road, we'll see about 2, but for now, we're gonna make sure that we just stick to 1, stay consistent with it, and continue to make a change in the world. So make sure that you guys start really creating awareness around the foods that you're putting into your body, the movement that you get every day, and start living a life worthwhile. Start being the example you wish you had. Start doing it for a greater purpose than yourself, whether that be for your family, your kids, your future kids, or whatever that, purpose may be. But lead by example. Make sure that, you're leaving, footprints worth following, whether that be, if you're just a single person like me, I'm leaving footprints worthwhile because I want other people like you guys listening to continue to follow in my footsteps, and try building the life that you want, because you can achieve anything out of this life that you want. It is very possible. It just takes a bunch of time, effort, and energy, and it's not going to be easy. Anything worthwhile in life isn't going to be easy, especially when it comes to your physical health. This journey that I've been on of losing over 80 pounds was one of the hardest things I've done in my life. And guess what? It was the most rewarding compared to someone going to get liposuction or anything like that. That's a quick, easy fix. Quick, easy fixes are not the solution, especially for long-term health. Making sure that you adopt into nutrition and fitness, and creating that as a part of your lifestyle and making that part of who you are can be the best thing you've ever done. So with that being said, make sure you guys give me a follow on the social medias, and they're all linked below. And I hope you guys have an amazing Monday, and I will talk to you guys soon. Love you guys, and continue to build a better lifestyle for yourself.
I love you.